I don't do any interviews ever. Like honestly, I can probably count on these hands in the entire. I get like super crazy, like anxious about stuff like that. So it's like very rare I do stuff like this. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's
Well,
crazy.
I'm
I'm like 15
honored
years.
then.
I'm trying to step out a little bit and do a little bit more. So I've got kids now. I can't just be this. I've
Yeah.
got to show them to step out of your comfort zone and do it. So
Well, yeah, and
probably
people
for a reason. You don't see me on interviews is just because I'm used to just kind of like letting some of the other personalities in the band just go for it. You know what I mean?
no, but I mean, people want to hear from all members of the band. I just had the bass player from Rat on, and
Oh wow!
episode blew up. Like I was just like, what? Like I didn't think it was going to be. It has more than my interview with the singer Stephen Piercy. I was like, this is
That's crazy. That's
because it's
crazy.
different stories. It's like people they've heard Stephen Piercy tell the same stories probably a million times, whereas like Juan hasn't done that many interviews, so it's
Right?
kind of
Yeah, might be in the same boat. Honestly, yeah, it's cool though. I say in the past maybe like month, I've really kind of tried to do a little bit more, and it's like you just get used to it a little bit. Kind of, I'm slowly getting used to it. You know what I mean? Just kind of go with the flow. It is what it
yeah, yeah. It's no
is.
stress. Well, probably depends on the interviewer too. Sometimes the interviewer can make it more difficult.
Totally.
Hopefully, I make it good for you.
Yeah, no worries. Absolutely. Sometimes it gets a bit weird with like language barriers and stuff. Sometimes, but I don't think we got that here, so we should be
Oh,
good.
yeah. Well, there's some things like I had a British guy on the other day, and he was saying something like, yeah, he's talking about what you guys call trucks over there. I think he called them
Lorries,
lollies or lorries.
lorry,
Lorries.
lorry.
Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
with context, I figured out, I think I knew what he meant, but I looked it up later and I was like, okay, yeah. Cause I didn't
Yeah,
want to sound stupid and go, what's a lorry?
honestly, I have to question. I have to like second guess now. I've been living in America for almost longer than I've ever lived in England. Really, I came over here when I was 17. I'm 32 now, so bordering that kind of cusp of like I've been living here since the inception of the band. Really, it's crazy. I'm just outside
Okay.
Nashville now. Yeah.
So wait, which part of England are you from? Because I know I'm learning different parts of the cities and things.
Yeah, I'm from Yorkshire. I'm from about 5 hours north of London, from the city of York, actually, in North Yorkshire. So I was born and raised, and I went to college there and met Danny and Cameron there. We were in the local bands. That city pretty much was where 4 of the 5 members of Asking are from, really, around the city at least. So
Oh, okay. And then which part of America did you move to? And is it the same place you live now?
no, we've been all over the place. When we first came over, we just landed. I'm sure you've heard like the story of how we kind of came over, but were we just flew into like JFK and like we got as far as Jersey and lived in a Walmart parking lot for like half a year until we didn't have a label or management or anything. We just kind of had a little dream. We were teenagers and MySpace was a thing, so we were trying to network and we were legitimately living out of um, a van in a Walmart parking lot in Jersey, just trying to meet people, and that was in like 08, 09.
Oh,
So
I love those kind of stories where it's like how people got to be successful. Love the ones where people are sleeping in their cars or on
yeah,
couches or
that was all of us, man. And then eventually we all started meeting, people and kind of setting our roots in certain places. But we started in Jersey, then I kind of moved to California, and I was in California for about 5 or 6 years, if I get my math right. Then from there, I did like a year in Texas. And then I did about 5 years or like 4 years in Arizona or something, and then I've just moved here like last year to Nashville. So
how
been
did
all
you
over the place.
know back in the day when you moved to Jersey and you're like you're sleeping in the van in the Walmart parking lot? Like, were you ever worried like, hey, maybe this was a bad idea? Like, we're not making it. Maybe I should give up. Like, there must have been thoughts of giving up.
Honestly, there was no thoughts of it because it happened so quickly. Like, it really did happen so quickly. Like, we were just like so riled up, like as teenagers, that we were just like so adamant that we were going to do it. Everybody in England told us, like everyone from where we were from, at least our little pond of friends and other people in like bands, and we were like, yeah, we're just going to go to America and see if we can break America. And it just seemed like such a crazy, stupid thing that we were decided to do because we didn't have a label, we didn't have management, we didn't have anything but 3 demos, 3 songs, which is like what Final Episode, Sincerity, and some of the ones from the first record. And I remember I came a few months later. So they had another guy who James and Cameron was playing in a local band with, who was playing bass at the time, And that didn't work out. So I got a call, and I was just working at a retail store, folding jeans and stuff. And I had my phone in my pocket. And Danny called me. He's like, "Hey, can you come to my house like after work tonight?" I'm like, "Is it good? Like, it's good news. Like, what's going on?" He's like, "It's good for everyone." And then that night they asked me to be in the band, and I just dropped everything, and we went over there, and yeah, the rest is history. It happened so quickly. Within about maybe like half 6 months, and then we went and recorded an album. We got signed, recorded an album, got on our first tour, and then it was just when the album came out on our first tour, it just blew up, and it was just no looking back. And it was like, hold on tight, like let's go, like. So like the world just kind of hit us. It was like shotgunning a beer of experience. Really, it was crazy. Like,
Right. And didn't the management like and the label push you guys a little too much? Like they didn't give you a break.
oh man, everyone can point fingers and say this and that, and maybe in hindsight, if I was to sit down and think about it, possibly. But there was no telling us no either. We were so hungry for it and so ready to go that we were the five kids that came over here and took the biggest plunge before anyone even knew who we were. So I think that kind of proved that we were all in at that point. So yeah, it was pretty full on, and especially during like Reckless and Relentless days, like it definitely took a toll on us because we were traveling all over the world. It was quite literally relentless. It was constant plane, bus, boat, plane, like no time at all, and lots of partying, lots of getting crazy. And there was definitely a bit of I feel like being that young, there was almost a bit of a narrative that was like wrapped around our band and almost brand of, yeah, they're the party band and they're Motley Crue, the new Motley Crue, and this and that. And it was funny because like everybody else was saying all that, and we were just friends that were just having a like I don't know, I don't know if it's the equivalent to like college parties that just never ended because we were just young and we were just having a good time. But little did we know this thing was growing and more eyes were looking at us, and we were just maybe a little bit. Maybe we got kind of the beast was fed by other people a little bit, but we were just young and crazy,
Yeah. Didn't you get your contract with the whiskey company canceled because you were drinking like 8 handles a day?
I actually have. No, I don't think that happened. But I've actually got it tattooed to my leg as well. Yeah, I don't know if that was like Mayhem days when we were out on Mayhem tour, and they would give us like cases of whiskey, and the next morning we'd be like, "Can we get some more? It's all gone." And it's like every single person in the bus had a bottle of whiskey, and I'm just thinking about it. I'm sat here drinking an old fashioned right now, respectfully, just responsibly.
But, okay, so you still drink. You've just toned it down.
I can. Oh, I do still. Sorry.
Have some members gone totally sober though, or?
Yeah. I mean, for periods of time, we do here and there. I think that everybody now is just a completely different phase where like we've learned our lessons a little bit in terms of like growing up. Like I said, I've got kids. Majority of the band, apart from Danny, have got kids. We got a handle on that. A long time ago, I think. Yeah, we like to have a little bit of, there's a little bit of it like where we'll have a night or something together on tour and we go crazy again, but it's like nothing like it was. Like it was just ridiculous. It wasn't just the booze, it was all the other things that come with it. And it was just, you can't actually continue that for very long. I don't care if you want to, you can't. You can't do that. And I've got a tattoo here on my arm. It's not finished by a good friend of mine in England. It's literally a candle being burnt at both ends because we were doing all that and trying to. It was just impossible. It was like trying to swim with weights around your ankles. Like you just can't do it. Like
Right. Well, and that seems to be the theme. I've interviewed so many musicians, and it's like that's like the story. Although a lot of them, it burns so badly that they got to do like rehab, and then they get completely 100% sober. So you guys were able to just kind of slow it down a little.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely things that happened and stuff in the history of our band where it was like a huge wake up call and like eye opener and stuff. And thankfully, myself, like, I was more so a bystander to it than actually it happening to me and stuff. But like, it's pretty sobering when you're quite literally sobering when you see, when you see such a change and like you can see your friends and stuff starting to change and like certain things taking over a little bit. And I'm not innocent. I definitely was on the drink way too much, and but it didn't seem like a problem because I wasn't the craziest one. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, it's usually the quiet ones you've got to look out for, and it's like I'm not the one doing all the interviews and telling people how crazy I am. I'm just chilling out and watching it and thinking, oh wow, you're really crazy. All the while I'm doing it too, So it does take its toll, man. It does. And at some point, everyone's different, but for me, like, you just got to kind of make a decision, like, what do you want from all this, and like, what did you start out? What and I've dedicated like my entire life to this now, and it's like I want to be the best I can be, not just because I want to, but I think that we've got fans that have been coming to our shows for over a decade now, and they're bringing kids. It's no longer just, we're not all just teenagers going crazy. It's like our fans are growing with us, and we're starting to see that this is like starting to somewhat become a bit of a family show, as well as it going crazy too. But like, you can't be doing the shit we were doing back in the day when it's like that, you know? Like, and
Who was the craziest band that you toured with?
Craziest band? Oh, you know, I've got to say Evergreen Terrace, and that was like our third tour in, like, it was a super hardcore tour. It was them headlining for the Fallen Dreams and us. So we were hitting all these, like, it wasn't a big tour. It was a great, awesome tour, and we earned I don't know if we earned our stripes. We got hazed pretty hard on that tour. Like, these guys were like veterans when we were on the road, and like, we were just these skinny British, long hair, doing the, you know, and making songs about drinking and getting fucked up. And there's a lot of hardcore, straight edge people in that community, and we were playing these like floor shows sometimes. They weren't big venues. It was like playing Reno and Utah and some places where that's not exactly welcomed. And it was like, these guys were crazy. Like, the tour was crazy. It was scary at times. I was just like, oh man, should we be in this city right now? Should we be at this? Should we be promoting that we're here right now? Like, but they were as crazy as like Evergreen Terrace and For the Fallen Dreams and that were. They also had our back, and it was like, but the guys in the band were crazy. They played like tour games that were just like, whoa, like, you know, like, I don't know if you heard of like Buffalo or Bison, the game, like where you got to drink out of a certain hand. Well, this became like law for us on the road. Like, Buffalo meant so for every day of the week you had to drink out of a certain hand, right? So this is crazy. I'm telling you about this now because it's going to get to Evergreen Terrace.
Yeah,
we had to drink out of our left hand. Apart from Tuesday and Thursdays, you have to drink out your right hand. And if you were caught drinking out of the wrong hand and someone shouted Buffalo at you, you had to chug your drink, right? If it's a beer, cool, I'll chug my beer. But if it keeps happening to you, cool. Then the Evergreen Terrace dudes would do it with any liquid, and they would hide it. So these guys would be like, one poor guy would be carrying in his guitar, and the rest of the band's just filled it with hot sauce and piss and puke and or anything you could think of under the sun. And then they'd be like, Buffalo. And they were so about it that like, you either have to drink it or you've got to pour it on your head. And it was like, you have to do it. So the amount of times I saw like, geez, it was funny at the time, but when I look back, I'm just like, whoa.
Wow.
And we took that game on, and we started making all these other rules, and we were doing it with liquor. And there was one time in Sweden where Cameron nearly got arrested because I put vodka in a water bottle and he thought it was water. And I said Buffalo, and he chugged a bottle of vodka because he was already pretty drunk. And there was no saying, hey, dude, you don't actually have to do that. And like 10 minutes later, he's getting carried out by Swedish police to a van. And it's like crazy stuff, you know, stupid games you kind of inherit from some of these veterans on the road. But like, I think that's with the Evergreen Terrace for us was like pretty wild, and we were young still. We were kids.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, because everybody goes, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people go through their party drinking phase in their 20s and 30s, but it's got to be elevated so much more when you're in a band.
Well, dude, you have it on a platter every night, and then and people think to hang out with you, they've got to bring gifts, they've got to bring party favors, you know, they've got to do that. That's kind of their way in, and it's like, that's kind of the mentality of people that want to hang, like there used to be at least. And it's like, it's started to turn out for me like the opposite now. Please get the hell away from me with any of this stuff. But back in the day, it was just, you're just surrounded by it, you know, not to mention it's on your rider. You've got so much time in the day where you're actually not doing anything. You know, you think you're on the road for like 5-6 weeks, and you know, during 24 hours you go up and you play an hour and a half, and the rest of it's all taken care of. You're just sitting there. You've got to occupy your time with beneficial things that are actually going to be good for you, because if you don't, you're going to get bored. And if you get bored, well, you've got a cooler full of all the things that are on your rider, and you've got all these people that are like, want to hang, you want this, you want this, you want this. It's like, you've got to fill your time with better things, and that's boredom will be the death of anyone on the road.
So what do you do now that you're obviously trying to tone it down with the drinking and stuff and the
Yeah.
partying? What do you do? Exercise stuff? Do you watch
No,
movies?
all I have to do now is because I'm in my 30s. All I have to do is have one crazy night, and then I'll be like, whoa. No, I do. I work out a lot now. I do like a bit of art and stuff too. I like to paint and draw and stuff like that. So, and I like to read, which sounds boring, but not crazy rock and roll. But like, I'm a foodie as well. I like to go and travel like into the cities that we're at and have a look around and eat and anything, man. Like if there's something new that I don't even do, I'm like into it. I'm like totally open to experiences now. I want to kind of like take, I'm away from my family for 6 weeks. I want to like fill it with like memories and things that I'm just like, yeah, I was out there, I was here. Hell yeah, I'm going to go and do this. Yes, I'm going to go and do that. No, I'm not going to curl up in a ball until 5 p.m. because I'm hungover and then go on stage, come off with adrenaline and do it all again because it's a cycle, you know?
All right. No, that's exactly right. I think that's the cycle of life. You eventually reach a point where you're like, okay, like I've done this. I've partied till I get sick. I don't want to do that every night. That because again, that's like you said, that's your memories. And then like that's the
or
memory
you start if you do that for so long, like you start like not remembering periods of time.
right.
Not just like nights. Or do you remember when we were in Soho? I don't even remember that tour. I don't even remember that. What there's areas of like time where I'm just like, whoa, we went around the world like 3 times and I don't even remember half of it because I was so messed up most of it. Because flights were so long, we were just like, all right, cool. And there's literally photographs of us like on a plane to Australia and like we're all sat together, and all of our trays are just, there's not space on any of our trays, any of us. It's all just liquor bottles. And you get, and it's like, and James is just passed out in the middle of us. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, it does get old. It does get old. We had a great time, but I want to start remembering it. I don't want to be blacking out for time, and I want to take away from this and speak to my kids about the time that I'm lucky enough to still be able to do it. So for me, that's enough of a sign for me to be like, okay, get a grip and really appreciate it and really don't take it for granted because I want to be able to share these things with my kids. And I've got 2 boys, 3 and 1. My oldest is starting to realize what I do. Still doesn't quite get it, but he's been to one show and it was awesome. But when he gets a bit older, I want to be able to share things about this crazy, awesome life that I've had. Not just say, yeah, this whiskey's great, or right. Do that from your own home,
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and that kind of brings up the title of the album. Where do we go from here? Because from what I hear in other interviews is that's kind of what this album is about as getting older and life changes, is finding the balance between being in a rock band and raising a family and getting married and having kids and all this other stuff.
It's not just like, so like the more I think about it, and I've done like a handful of interviews now, like a handful of them about this record. And it's usually the question that kind of comes up is like, all right, cool. Like, what does that mean, that name of the album? And it does mean that, but it's also not just us. It's also, like I said, the fans that have been there with us through day one as well. Like, we're all at that point now. Like, cool. Like, it doesn't matter if you're in a band or if you're going off to college or you're starting a family. Like, no one has all the answers in their life. We're always questioning, like, all right, where do I go from here? Like, because we're just trailblazing our own life, aren't we? Like, at the end of the day, if you think that you've got it all figured out, I mean, if some people might, but I sure as hell don't. And I don't know what's going to happen in 5-10 years from now. And I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, without sounding too cliche, like, you just have to kind of somewhat question, say out loud, like, where do we go from here? Because, like, we never had a plan. Do you know what I mean? We never had a plan. And it's kind of a bit of a moment in life where you kind of start asking those questions. We're in our 30s now, like I said, and we're just thankful to be here and thankful to still be doing what we're doing and like still making music that people love to hear. And I think that our fans, when we speak to them at like shows and we see them, like the amount of stories I hear from fans, like of different, it makes you kind of put things into perspective. I'm like, damn, I've got such an awesome life. And like some people are really going through it and my music is actually helping them. And it's like, it's a question for all of us, fans and our band as well. But I think everyone can relate to the name. and the song itself. I don't know if you've heard the record. Have you heard the record?
Oh yeah, I heard yeah,
Yeah,
the song, the title song. Where do we go from
it's
here?
powerful.
Yeah, it's a ballad with
Yeah.
keyboards. It's sad but like beautiful. I really
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it.
I know Danny definitely has his own meaning behind the lyrics and the song and stuff, but to me and the rest of the guys, it obviously made it as the title track because that title just resonated with all of us regardless. And I think that again, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, you can really single in and like dissect what Danny means, but I think the great thing about Danny and his lyrics are they're so accessible to so many other people in so many other different ways that he might be talking about something specific, but somehow it connects with, you know, the last record we did, See What's on the Inside. We did a song called You've Made It This Far. And at that point in time, we'd done all the music, we're in the studio, and I hadn't heard lyrics. Danny hadn't even wrote them yet. And he went in, we were in the kitchen making food, and he's like, guys, come on in, come listen to the lyrics. And this is the first time I got to hear it. And I heard it as a fan. It was like, cool, like, this is awesome. I'm in this awesome studio, and they played it. And I was like nearly in tears because his lyrics just spoke to me at that point, and I needed to hear those lyrics. And it's like, because I'm going through some crazy stuff, like it was a few years ago, and it was just like, wow, just needed that. So it was just another one on this record that I thought was just connected with me. It's like, yeah, cool. Like, there's got to be the album, you know?
Yeah. So you hear a lot of those stories from fans as well. You're saying that fans will come up to you and say, hey, this song really helped me through a tough time.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, honestly, it's like you become quite jaded in your ways of just, you know, in this awesome, it's great. You know, I'm lucky enough to have an actual brother at home in England, like my older brother I grew up with, but I've got all these boys around me that I've known since I was a kid that we just love each other, and we've got the support around each other now. We've gone through a lot together, but you see fans and you're that for them. I've got a wealth of people, and I can sit here and go, woe is me with all my problems, but I'm actually really lucky to have what I've got, because I hear some stories, I'm just like, whoa, and you're still doing it and coming out here and yeah, you know, whatever they're, you know, I won't go into specifics, but like certain things like where fans will come and say, oh, you know, this has happened, or I'm going through this at the point, and you guys have helped me. And it's like, they lean on you like I would lean on my support group. And it's like, you know, as you sober up a little bit, that those things that people say to you really mean, and they start driving deep into me. Like, I'm just like, whoa, this is like affecting people in such a positive way that we really, you know, hence maybe we did more ballads than we did like heavier music, because this is like genuinely like, let's give it back, you know, let's give it back, let's make music that's actually moving people as well in another way. But this new record is probably a little bit heavier than the other ones in recent years.
Yeah.
I'm
I love it. Yeah,
dude, I'm so excited for it, like, to
yeah,
make
the
something heavy
song
again.
I gotta ask though, I don't know if this has already been revealed, but who or what is the single about? Psycho? Because that song's amazing. It's like, I'm feeling out of my mind. I feel alive, feel crazy because I'm a fucking psycho.
Who do you think it's
Learned my
about?
lesson. What's that?
Who do you think it's about? It's Danny, isn't it? He's just, I'm like one of his best mates. I'll tell you, I've never met anyone like him. I love him, but crazy Uncle Danny. He's the only one in the band who ain't got his kids at the moment, but he is crazy. He's mental. He's in the best way though. Like, he's an absolute sweetheart when you actually get to know him, but he has got such a hard exterior and a very, very high wall. And again, we've been lucky enough to be doing this together for so long that, you know, he is. You don't know who you're going to get with Danny. Like, he genuinely changes. Like. And that is when he changes, like every few months, like that is him. He genuinely feels like, and like what I'm saying, like is in years have gone by. Like, we've gone through, like, I don't know, like there's all these different versions of Danny, and whatever he's going through at the time, like he just embodies it and takes it on, and like he's in a great place right now. Like, we've never been closer, really, like with Danny and stuff, like and the rest of us, like we talk every day. They're blowing up my phone right now down here, and I'm just like, you know, it's just good. And then there's been times where we haven't really spoken much because he's doing other things or we're doing other things. But Danny, he's pretty honest with his lyrics, and that's where you get to know Danny, is in his songs. I don't think you'll get a better read on Danny in person. Some people say, oh, you know, he's a bit standoffish, or he's a bit this and he's that. He's like the dude is himself, and he goes through. He's got his own things going on, and he likes what he likes. He don't like what he likes, but he does appreciate everyone. He's just not very I don't know. And sometimes he is. Sometimes he's really loud and really like, hey, come on in. But like his songs are really quite. His lyrics are very, I think, very honest and speak. I personally, as a friend, I'm just assuming this because I know him. That's not like I've spoken to him before this, but and he's gonna watch this and be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" But I genuinely, when I listen to lyrics, I'm like, damn, like I feel like I know him more and more the more I hear his lyrics. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
yeah. So it's like he's using his emotions and channeling that into a positive way with the music. It reminds me when you speak, I'm reminded of like Axl Rose with Guns N' Roses, because you listen to some of those Guns N' Roses songs, and I mean, you can just feel like when I was a kid, and I remember listening to Guns N' Roses and going, "Oh God!" Like just the way he would say "fuck" all the time and "fuck this," and like you're like, "Yeah, I can relate to this," and like
yeah,
he's channeling those emotions.
definitely. And I think like as time's gone on and we've got older, I think he's got all of us have got way better at just kind of being a bit braver and being like, okay, no, this is who I am right now, and this instead of being led and to be something that you're not or be a version of yourself that you don't necessarily want to be. And I think that now you do that or you become. I don't know what you could become if you went down that road into the later years in your life. Like it'd just be I think it'd be a sad existence if you continued down that way of just pleasing, and not actually just like saying, okay, hey, this is me now. Like, come on, and just
Is
letting it
that
out. You know?
Is that how you approach the record? Is just trying to make a album that was very genuine to who you guys are as a band? Because it does seem very genuine and real and raw. And just really, I like how it's there. It's a little bit eclectic. Like I said, that title
Yeah,
track
yeah.
is a clear ballad,
It
whereas like
totally is
Psycho
eclectic.
is a very aggressive. There's like the was
Well,
the
this,
Let the Dead Take Me. That's like almost got a punk riff. A lot of like
yeah, yeah,
cool
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely eclectic. It's we've said like this album that we made was for the fans because we wanted to give everyone a taste of what we are and what we've been and like what we've done and over the years. Like because every album we've ever released has been completely different. Like it really has. Apart from like the first two, very heavy breakdowns, metalcore, and then we strayed off into like we journeyed creatively into like rock and like and just more kind of like radio rock and ballads and exploring Danny's vocals a little bit. And it's like this, then the last one especially was full of ballads. It was powerful, but it wasn't exactly the hardest record you'd ever heard. It was just like, I mean, musically, it was one of my favorite ones we've ever done, really. But this one was more of like a hey to the fans. We hear you. We see what you're crying for. You want something heavy. And we all love different music in the band. So I love heavy music. I love heavy music. James Cameron loves heavy music. Danny, he loves a bit of country. He loves pop. He's all about Adele. Like Adele's like his favorite artist ever, right? And then you got Ben. He loves his blues, and he also loves a bit of country and stuff. So this one, like all it's a melting pot. Asking's always been a melting pot, especially as you get older and you start all going in your other directions of what you love and stuff. But this one specifically was keeping the fans in mind, which I think the past few records we've been a bit selfish in just doing what we want to do. And that's to say, like, you should be honest as an artist and as a creative. You should do what you want to do at the time. I think that if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be able to release the record we're doing now because we would have gone, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, so you have to just kind of take a bit of you've got to take these detours. Otherwise you'll burn out being a people pleaser and you won't be honest and you will hear it in the music. But we got to a place where we're like, yeah, cool. Like, let's make some heavy music again. And I think that honestly, we've had so much fun doing it that I think there's going to be a lot more heavy music coming, from
Oh, that's
Asking.
awesome.
I genuinely do. Yeah.
And what about, tell me about the song Kill It With Fire? Because that one is so hardcore, fast paced. Like I would
really,
say
really off the wall, different from everything. That was kind of Ben. I can't talk too much on it because that was a bit of a surprise for me as well. I heard that as like, he sent it to me and it was like, I just thought it was like a demo, He's like, oh, I was like, this is cool. Like, this is crazy. This is wild. And then the next thing I know, it's like, boom, it's on the record. I'm like, fuck, this is all right, cool, sick. But
is that harder to play a song like that? Like, especially for your drummer, James. I'm like, how does
I
he
didn't play
do
that song, but I didn't have any part in that song. Like that's one of the songs on the record where I was just like, it got sent to me from Ben. It was like, cool, or it's pretty much done. I just
Oh.
in its raw form, as you know, it's not like it's like a polished song. It's very
Mhm.
rough around the edges, very punk, and it was like, cool. You just want to. I think it'd be cool just to throw this on the way it is. Like, all right, cool, go for it. And it was just something he wanted to do, and like, experimentally, why not throw it on there? I think the rest of the record gives you kind of like I think it was just like, I don't know, I really don't know. You'd have to ask Ben, but I think it was just him. I think that's even him screaming and shouting and stuff on it too, like just getting it out a little bit, you know. But man, like,
I hope you do
do
that
it.
one live. That would be cool to see live. I feel like that would get the crowd going for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. That'd be
Do you
kind
have
of
the
cool.
set list picked out yet? Like, do you know how many new songs you'll be doing?
Yeah, we're doing some new ones. Oh man, the set list. Like I said, we've been talking so much back and forth, and like we let me see. I've got it on my phone here, the set list, because we've been going changing it and stuff. But I'm not even opposed to even telling you what the set list is going to be like in this next tour, because we're throwing old ones in the sets as well as new ones. As this record is an embodiment of all of our work, we think that going out there and touring it, it's only justified to play some of the old ones that people want to hear too, like stuff that you wouldn't even think Danny would ever do again, like heavy off the first two records. Because everyone kind of, I see online like, oh, you know, he's like, he can't scream, or he's not doing, he can't scream anymore. It's like, dude, you wait till you hear, like, Danny's on it. Like, he's so ready to do some heavy stuff again. And I think in the past he's just not really, but
Hmm.
we're finally at that point where we took the detour, we did what we needed to do, and like we're back, you know, organically where we should be. You know?
So it was not more. It was more that he wasn't that he couldn't physically sing like that. It was just that he wasn't really feeling it. He
Not
was
feeling
wasn't
it,
that
and he
style.
didn't enjoy it, and I think he probably recently would tell you that it's not that he couldn't do it, but I think he was probably damaging himself in certain ways. But recently, he's been really looking into technique and making sure he can do it and consistently do it, and make sure that he's not just going out there and giving people what they want and screwing his voice up, because he's not just a heavy screaming vocalist. He does love to sing, and this dude should protect that, because it's a talent, and it's something that I would be protecting. If I could sing as well as scream, and I love to sing, I wouldn't jeopardize my singing voice. Like, so he's taking the time. He's at a point where he wants to do it, so that's a huge thing, you know. Like, and he's taking the time to get his technique down a little bit, and it's like James said it perfectly. It's like having a tool, and you've kind of left, if you've not used it for a long time, you've left it out in the rain, that shit's going to get rusty and it's not going to work. But you need to sharpen your tools, you need to maintain them, and you need to, and that's, you know, James has been releasing some playthrough videos on his social media recently of him playing some of the older stuff, and it's just getting his heel toe back in for his, you know, his crazy kick. It's a tool. It's something that you should, and Danny has been, you know, sharpening his tools a little bit recently, and it's kind of cool to hear. I mean, you've heard the new record, and he's got a few bangers in there, but like, we're even talking about doing old stuff, like I'm saying, throwing some old stuff in the set, and really just giving people a taste of Asking, like old and new. We're not just going to turn our back on old stuff anymore. And
Is there certain songs that have been fan requested for a long time that you guys have refused to play that now you will?
Not all of us. I would gladly play any song anytime. I'm not that guy. Like, but I think like a prophecy, you know, like a final episode, we do that because it's the one that people just love to hear. And you know, I'd have to look at the set just for me to tell you which ones we've gone with. But there's old ones, man. Like, you know, even things like Breathless and Killing You, and like from like the second record and the third record and stuff. Like, it's a bit of a head fuck, because like I haven't played some of these songs in years, and I'm like, okay, how many guitars are we bringing out on song? Because every single record's in a different tuning, and it's, you got to think logistically, how do you actually
That's
put that together? You
true.
know, are we going to
Yeah.
all bring out like? So we've figured
Unless
it
you
out.
have a
We've figured it
guitar
out.
tech or bass tech like tuning them in between.
Well, yeah, or you
Need
can,
multiple.
you know, we go through Axe Effects, so you can like pitch shift a little bit on the Axe Effects digitally. But if you start doing that like too much, it starts messing with it a little bit, and it sounds
Yeah.
a bit funky, and I don't really like doing that.
And
So
you guys
yeah,
don't use tape or anything like that, right?
no. So it's like we don't. So we're going straight through Axe Effects, but we're gonna maybe do a little bit of transposing here and there, just to kind of meet in the middle without having to change it live too much. But it's if anything, it just sounds heavier.
Okay. How
Yeah,
many
yeah.
songs do you guys play? Because you're on this upcoming tour. There's 3 other bands with you.
So I just counted. So we're doing
Okay.
we're doing I think like 16 songs,
Oh,
like 15, 16 songs. It's a good set. Like, it's a good one. Yeah.
nice.
But
Well,
there
that's
are,
good.
you know, we're gonna try and squeeze it in. We're trying to give people what they want. It's gonna be like, Danny, shut up talking. We've got another song to do, dude.
Yeah. That's cool. Like, so when you look back on, I mean, you've done so many other tours too and shows. Is there other tours or shows that you've done that really stand out for you?
Other shows, what in the history of doing
Yeah,
shows?
just
Like,
the history of the whole band. Like, I know you played with Guns N' Roses, you played with Korn, you did the Warp Tour, you played with Shinedown a couple
yeah,
tours,
yeah, yeah.
Godsmack. I mean, what was this one you did? You did a show with the original Alice Cooper band. I mean, this is like amazing resume here.
Yeah, we've done all kinds of stuff. Even at like kind of the like award shows can sometimes bring out some acts that you don't see very often. And like Avenged Sevenfold, for me personally, when I grew up listening to the event, the Avenged guys, like they were like my all time favorite band. Like so when we went on tour with those guys, it was that for me was just like I'll never forget that because it was the point for me being like realizing that was a huge eye opener for me to like I'm actually on tour with the band that got me into doing what I want to do and it was crazy. It was crazy. And it was a long time ago we did that. But for me, I think that'll always be just like kind of a reminder that it's like, you can actually do whatever the fuck you want to do as long as you dedicate everything to it. And that was the point for me. It was like, whoa, I don't think you realize how much I loved this band before I was in any band, and it was just like, damn, I'm at the other side of the world playing with these guys every night, watching their show and just like listening to the songs that I love. And then, so for me, I think it was probably doing the Avenged tour and even Slipknot or Mayhem. It was just crazy to see, Motorhead. We're going back to now to the point where my dad's showing me Motorhead vinyl and introducing me to metal and stuff. And I'm actually I'm drinking beers with them, having lunch with them and hanging with them and actually discussing some of their history and some of their past and stuff. And I'm just like, whoa.
That is
You don't
crazy.
realize it at the time until you look back and you go, whoa, that actually happened.
Wait, so did you? I thought I heard you guys somebody talking about. Did you do shows with Guns N' Roses? I'm a big Guns N'
We did.
Roses guy. So if there's
So
any like,
yeah, we did a show in New York with Guns N' Roses at the Izod Arena, and it was I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we were like in Orlando, and we got a call. We were not ready to do a show with Guns N' Roses, and we just got the call. It's like, hey, they want you to open up for them tonight in New York. Can you make it? And we're like, we're in Orlando. We've got all of our gear. We're about to play a show. We can try and make it happen. So the crew made it happen. I remember like seeing them just unloading this truck and trying to get it all fly ready and get us there. And we just got there within the hour or something. And I remember it was just a mad 24 hours of going from Orlando to New York and playing with them. And it was it didn't go down like you thought, yeah, this is going to be the best, the biggest, craziest thing ever. And we got out there, and this is like early on in our career, again, where these skinny jeans, long hair, like, and you're playing to Guns N' Roses fans. It was just like, just silence. It was like,
oh,
but then they started getting into it, and it was like, when we turn around, it's like, cool, set's done. And then we go, no, play another one. And we're like, we don't have another one. What do you mean? Well, Axel's not here, so play another one. It's like, we don't have another one. Play another one. Play it again. Play whatever you want to play it again. And we're just like, all right, go back out and play some songs again. It was a super crazy show that I'll never forget because it was just like, never would I like, I don't know, like, it just, to me, it was just like, it was weird. It was awesome. And I got to watch them and it was crazy. And to say we did it, and it was just a fly in, fly out, a whirlwind of a time. But like, even just down to the set and just trying to like make it work around like Axel's schedule and stuff, because he didn't rock up until like late after when they were supposed to go on in true Axel fashion, Just meanwhile, we'd gone through our set like 3 times to a bunch of people that didn't even want to hear it once.
wait, you played the same set just over
No,
and over?
we didn't. That was an exaggeration. We did a few songs again just because the time was like, all right, well, give us buy a bit more time. It's like, damn. All right.
Wait, so and then what was the thing where you were supposed to play with Steven Adler and you were going to jam Night Train, but then he just never showed up or something?
No, we did actually. We did. We went to his little practice spot. Well, we didn't do it live. We went and jammed with him. And again, this is in LA. And this is at a time where we were crazy. And I was probably one of the least crazy ones. And it was like, all right, cool, here's your homework. He wants to fucking jam this song off Appetite. And I'm just like, what? Yes, cool. I'm there doing I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I've got it down. And I showed up. I was the only one who had it down. Me and Ben. right? We walked up and he's playing, he's like jamming, and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. We're jamming together. And the rest of the guys, I think, were just like partying the night before, and they just didn't realize like if it was like a real thing or anything. And I think he got a little bit upset. He was just like, "Oh, you guys are cool, but what the hell's going on here?" And it was just like, and it was just a bit like last minute thrown together, and it didn't work out. But I still had a great jam with him. It was great. Like I had a great time.
That would be interesting to hear your guys' cover of Night Train. That would be really cool, actually. There's
Dude,
not a copy of that somewhere?
no, I don't believe there is. It was just a fleeting moment in the history books for us, and it's funny you brought that up because it's you've taken me back to his little lockout, and yeah, it was like we went and did it with him like the day before tour, I think. It's funny because like at that time we always used to get curveballs thrown at us right before tour. We're prepping for tour, we're about to go and embark on our tour for the next 6 weeks, and then like, oh, the day before you're going to do this, you're going to do this. Like we did the Warrior show. I don't know if you saw that. It was like the Ultimate Warrior, the wrestler.
Yeah.
Well, we did this boot camp. It's on YouTube. There's an
Okay.
episode of us doing like a boot camp with him, and it's the day before we go on tour, and we're all just getting put through the ringer. Like he's like got chains around us, we're doing push-ups, he's got on the treadmill, but Danny and Ben rock up right before, and they've got a bottle of wine, and they're just like, what the fuck, you know, they don't, and he's like, that's disrespectful to me, motherfucker, I'm gonna put you through the hell. It's all on YouTube. And I'm just like, I watched it like not long ago, and I'm just like, oh my god, look at these malnourished skinny little kids that are just. And at the time, we're just like, is this the day before tour? And what? We're doing what? We're doing what? Yeah, be here in like 2 hours. I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, meanwhile, the rest of the guys are on it, you know? And it's funny now when I look back and and rest in peace to Warrior. He was a legend in his own right. And I look back again and I think, wow, what a cool experience, you know?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a lot of experiences, and it sounds like you have a lot of clarity now, and that you sound very grateful for all this stuff. And I think to me, that's the key to happiness. From all these people I've talked to, all these interviews, gratitude is really huge. And it seems like you have that in spades.
Yeah, dude. How could you not? How could I not? I still keep in touch with all my friends and family and stuff back in England. And even though, it's a huge sacrifice to be away from them all, but like it's also a huge reminder because like of what I do get to do and the life I do get to live. And you never know. You just never know what's going to happen. So again, I don't know if it's just a coming of age kind of bullshit thing, or I'm just like starting to realize it. But
Did you know?
I don't know. I've always been grateful, man. I really have always been grateful for doing what we do. I've never really kind of voiced it as much.
That's
As
great though.
you know.
But did you notice when you guys started to get success? Did you notice like that your friends and family? Did some people treat you differently, or did ever?
No.
Kind of
It was people that were our friends started treating us differently. Remember I said, oh, everyone thought we were a joke when
Yeah.
we said we were going to go to America, and we were, and yeah, all right, good luck. Okay, I've got a story for you. I was at college doing music technology with. That's where I met Danny and Cam. We were all in the same course doing that. I lasted about 3 months because it was a shitty course. I won't say all the tutors, all the teachers in it were just like jaded, bitter towards the music industry. So day one of us getting there, we're all bright-eyed, ready to, we're out of school, we're here to learn about audio. And they're like, all right, before we begin, just so you know, of all of you here, maybe 2 of you will get a job in the music industry, okay? And it was just like absolutely the most deflating first. And I'm just sat there, I'm like, all right. And it continued for a few months of me just going to this course, other than like starting a band with Danny because I'd met him in the course and stuff, and we're doing our thing on the side. Like I was like, dude, I'm not doing this. This is bullshit. I'm just going to go get a job. And I remember telling the tutor at that lesson, I was like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm dropping off the course, but I wanted to give you a heads up. Like I think I've got like a week and then I'm going to be out. He's like, well, no, just leave right now. Get out on my lesson right now. And this, he just like called me out in front of everyone. I was like, go on then. If you think you want to do it, get out. And I remember looking around and Cameron was in the room. Cameron was in the class with his notepad. Just like, what the hell? It's like, all right, I wasn't trying to be rude or anything. I'm just telling you I'm going to go and do something different. And he kicked me out of the class. And years later, I got someone reached out to me from York College, and it was a student, and he's like, I really want to do. I'm doing a piece on Asking. I would love it if you could come to the college and speak to me a little bit about Asking. And I'm a huge fan. And I was like, yeah, of course I will. I'm doing music technology. I was like, oh, sweet. I did that course funny enough. And I go up the stairs and into this classroom, the one that I got. And then, by the way, when we all said that we were going to go and start a band, all of the teachers were like laughing about it, saying, "Oh, good luck." They've got a huge poster of us in this class saying how we went to York College, and and I won't say all the tutors, because there's a couple that were really bullshit. There was a couple really cool teachers there that were like, and I actually got to see them when I came back. One of them was called Chris, but we had like 7 teachers that were called Chris there. It was crazy. But the one that was, I just wish the one that kicked me out and laughed, and a few of them did and were there, but no, it didn't matter. I went back and it was just cool. I spent an hour talking to this lad, and in the room where I just got like humiliated for just standing up for myself and going, I don't really feel this is, I'm it's not for me. I'm going out. And then I found out that they were all laughing about us starting a band and going over to America. And now they're just like flying the flag. Like we were, they came here, and it was just like blew my mind a little bit. But I'm not saying this to like discourage people that go to York College, because I went to speak to the lad that was in the student. It wasn't about, I could have been like, never going in there again, screw that. But I did want to go and speak to him because he was a fan of the band and he didn't know about any of this stuff. And if anything, maybe if I had something like that at the time when I was in, it might have actually maybe want to stay, or maybe want to pursue it. Actually give some positive feedback. You can fucking do it. Don't let other people that are a bit bitter and tell you otherwise, But it was cool. But again, going back to like, did people treat you differently? Like, yeah, people have definitely treat us different, but I'm really thankful that my friends and my family don't treat me any different. And I think that keeps me nice and grounded,
That's awesome.
I'm from Yorkshire. I'm from like not the nicest part of Yorkshire. Like outside of York, I'm like from Selby. Like it's pretty blue collar, really. Like you either get a trade or you go to the mines. My friend circle, my family are like, we'll go out and work, and so they'll keep you pretty grounded, and I'm thankful for that as well,
That's great. Good stuff. Well, the new album is 3 of the songs are out now. The full album comes out August 25th.
Yep.
And it's called Where Do We Go From Here? Great stuff. I've heard the whole album. It's an amazing album. It's probably one of my front runners for album of the year that I do every year. I always say the best album of the year. That one. I also really like the new Extreme album. It's I don't know if it's the same kind of music that people listen to Asking Alexandria, but I like both those bands. I was then promoting a charity or a nonprofit. Is there a cause or something that you want to?
I think the one I wanted to pick for this one was Heart Support. It's pretty close to my world. It's actually founded by the vocalist of August Burns Red, Jake Lurs, and I've been looking at what they've been doing over the years, and I think it's a great outlet for people that are dealing with like mental illness or even just need someone to speak to, and they've got a great platform. And props to him for using his platform for to benefit others, because I've seen it over the years and they're doing great things. And you can go. They've even got an app. It's like an SOS app. If you are feeling like you've got no one to speak to or anything like that, you can go and you should check it out. It's called Heart Support, and you can find them at heartsupport.com. You can donate, heartsupport.com/donate, which is a really great cause, helping a lot of people, shedding a lot of light on the stigma of talking about mental health and your journey with mental health by interviewing and speaking with band members and people that people look up to, and it's a great thing. And for me personally, I deal with a lot of anxiety, as I was telling you, a bit of depression here and there, but I'm actually quite a happy person on the whole. But anxiety cripples me sometimes to the point where I just feel like, practicing to speak about it and be open about it and not ashamed of it, and I think it's a good thing. So I really wanted to give them props for Heart Support. Yeah, it's a non-profit. Okay. And that's the one.
Great. I'll put that link in the show notes along with your website. People can pre-order the new album or get it if it's already out when they're listening to this, and then catch you guys on tour as well. And, great. Thanks so much, Sam. This was great. You did a great job. You should definitely do more interviews. You have some great stories that I'd never heard before. So
thank you, man. Appreciate it. I'm about to get my phone blown. Why did you say that?
All right. Thanks so much. I'll see you on tour.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to the full podcast episode. Please help support our guests by following them on social media and purchasing their products, whether it be a book, album, film, or other thing. And if you have a few extra dollars, please consider donating it to their favorite charity. If you want to support the show, you can like, share, and comment on this episode on social media and YouTube. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can give us a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. Finally, make sure you're subscribed to the show on YouTube for the video versions and other exclusive content. We appreciate your support. Have a great rest of your day and shoot for the moon.